Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is an absolute game changer for your day-to-day life as an educator and is honestly probably going to save you hours of weekend work. We are unpacking the newly simplified guidelines that officially transform lesson planning from what has often felt like a heavy, exhausting administrative burden into an empowering, highly practical instructional tool. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to breeze through the massive shift in teaching philosophy, check out the new single-page template step by step, and look at how school leadership is stepping up to genuinely support this change. Let's jump right in. Section 1. A new lesson planning era. You know the feeling, right? For years under the old Debet Order 42, lesson planning often felt like a mountain of chained-up paperwork. Endless daily logs, highly detailed plans, rigid compliance checks. It just drained the joy right out of teaching. But here's the amazing news. This new policy officially repeals all of that. Instead, planning is now an agile, practical toolkit. The policy formally states that you, the teacher, are explicitly trusted to use your professional judgment. It even encourages co-creating lesson plans and sharing outputs across your departments. Fundamentally, it's about ditching the busy work and focusing entirely on the magic that happens inside your classroom. Moving on to Section 2, the 8 Learning Design Principles. Now, to help guide this newfound professional trust, the guidelines map out 8 core principles of effective instruction. And look, these aren't just empty educational buzzwords to memorize. They are literally the architectural pillars of a great lesson. We're talking about things ranging from setting clear goals and scaffolding to leveraging active recall, encouraging deep self-awareness, prioritizing social learning, integrating core values, and ensuring total inclusion. Basically, these are the fundamental features you should weigh and balance before you even put pen to paper. Let's zoom in on a few of these highlighted principles to see what they actually look like in practice. Take scaffolding. It means ensuring your learners aren't overwhelmed right out of the gate. Think of it as giving them training wheels or stepping stones before asking them to ride the bike entirely alone. Then there's active recall and spacing, which ensures your instruction is scientifically memorable. Meaning, instead of cramming a whole unit into one block, you might throw in a quick, low-stakes quiz on last week's topic to really cement it into their long-term memory. We also have checks for understanding, which keeps us calibrated to actual progress. That's your quick thumbs up or thumbs down from the class, rather than waiting for the final exam to see who was lost. And finally, social learning acknowledges that students often master concepts best when they have to explain them to a peer. These principles act as your compass, guaranteeing that even with a radically simplified plan, your pedagogical quality stays incredibly high. All right, Section 3, the simplified plan template. This is where it gets really good. A crucial directive comes attached to this new template. Schools, divisions, and regions can absolutely no longer require add-on forms, alternate templates, or extra documentation. The whole shebang starts and ends right here. And right at the top, alongside your basic details, there is a very modern twist, a specific declaration for how artificial intelligence was used in formulating the lesson plan. Talk about a massive leap into 21st century teaching. So maybe you used an AI tool to brainstorm a creative lesson hook, or to quickly adapt a complex reading text for the different reading levels in your class. You just declare it, own it, and move forward. Just below that header, the first major block is titled Intentions. Think of this as your destination. You set the stage by mapping out the targeted competencies from the curriculum and defining clear expectations. But then comes a really vital step, noting the learner context. And we aren't just talking about basic demographic data here. This means explicitly writing down your real, on-the-ground observations. Do you have highly visual learners this year? Is there a language barrier you need to account for? Are they coming to you right after an exhausting PE class and desperately need something low energy to start? You are designing a journey specifically for them, not just delivering a pre-written generic script. Next up, Section 4, Designing the Learning Experience. This course section right here breaks down the actual instructional journey. It kicks off with the pre-lesson, how you're going to hook the learners, activate that prior knowledge, and get them primed for what's next. Then comes the flow. And notice, instead of writing a rigid step-by-step monologue, the template just prompts you to naturally apply those 8 learning design principles we talked about earlier. Finally, you map out your learning resources and look for clever ways to integrate topics across other subject areas. Integration isn't just a box to check. It's asking yourself, hey, can I pull a bit of local history into this literature lesson to make the context that much richer for the kids? Actually, the entire philosophy of this change is captured perfectly in this powerful quote straight from the guidelines. Trust is given to teachers in structuring the learning experience. They know their learners best. I mean, think about how liberating that is for the profession. You aren't expected to write a minute-by-minute exhaustive script anymore. You are given the total autonomy to design a journey that actually suits the specific kids sitting in front of you. It is a total shift from performative paperwork to genuine, responsive teaching. Section 5, Assessment and Meaningful Reflection. So, after the journey, we have to check our map. This final phase focuses heavily on the aftermath of the lesson. First, the assessment block captures those formative, on-the-spot tasks designed to evaluate if the learning actually stuck. But right below it is this brilliant little addition called Ways Forward. This is where meaningful learning breaks out of the classroom walls. It prompts you to suggest extended opportunities to spark the student's curiosity long after the bell rings. Maybe it's recommending a related science podcast, outlining a simple home experiment they can try with their families, or suggesting a community project. The big takeaway here, learning evidence is no longer just a number recorded in a gradebook, filed away, and totally forgotten. Under these new guidelines, evidence is actively studied. You take those learning gains, or, let's be honest, those gaps, and you use them to pivot and guide your next steps. For instance, if a quick formative assessment shows that half the class totally missed the core concept today, well, tomorrow's starter activity is going to address it directly. The Ways Forward section forces us to continuously learn from our own teaching process. It's a complete shift from blind compliance to meaningful strategic reflection. And finally, Section 6, Supportive Instructional Leadership. Because none of this happens in a vacuum, the guidelines are crystal clear about the vital role of school heads. They are no longer meant to be compliance supervisors just obsessing over formatting rules and margins. They are positioned as true instructional leaders. Their explicit duties now include providing structured collaboration, like Learning Action Cell or LAC sessions, so teachers can actually brainstorm and co-create these lesson plans together as a community. Crucially, leaders are directed to protect teachers' ancillary time. They have to guard those quiet hours you desperately need to think, grade, and just breathe. Furthermore, when school heads conduct short walkthroughs using these simplified plans, it's not to judge or penalize you, but to provide timely, evidence-based coaching that helps you constantly refine your craft. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really provocative question pulled straight from the reflections box of the new template itself. What will you change for your next session based on what happened today? I think that perfectly captures the spirit of this entire policy shift. How will you use this newfound professional trust and the countless hours saved from administrative paperwork to truly empower your next lesson? Thank you so much for exploring this with me, and keep designing those incredible learning experiences.